Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be real quick here. As you can see, I'm getting ready to set things up. The tools and items I'm going to need for my LaRue. There's my trigger waiting. There's my charging handle and takedown pins. That's my Fortis end plate that I'll be using. And Timber Creek with my FDE collar takedown pin set. Helping my Geisley, my Little Crow Gunworks. As you can see right here, I got some magnets set in place on my LaRue lower, stripped down, nice and neat looking, and it's all ready for me to start drilling and tapping. I got those magnets there to catch any of the scraps, or should anything shoot out and fall. Story of my life right here, setting or in my desktop. Gonna do my best to make it as level as possible, although we all know as you're doing this, things are gonna move and slide no matter how well you got it. I'm trying to right now tighten her down and get her adjusted. Everything looks good. I've got some old gun oil I'm going to use to help me tap. Put it in there. And I know you can probably use aluminum cutting, transmission, all of that stuff, but let's face it. Those are my, excuse me. I'm prepping the tools here. Those were my clips there, getting things ready. Tweezers, because as you know, these end plates are pretty small. As you see, take a look. This is what Little Crow Gunworks sent me. Nice and small. I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be a lot bigger than what that was, but that's what it came in, the tap. Now I bought this for my Aero lower, because as you can see, it's got a full set. I picked it up at Tractor Supply. Right there on the left, the 440 is what the size Aero uses, the 440, with the corresponding drill there. Now, I did this one right here with my Palmetto State. It worked perfectly. Pin set from an Aero, because my other Aero didn't have it. Now, that's pretty small. That's why I got my tweezers out. That's pretty, I mean, that can go anywhere. Unfortunately, my carpet I'm standing on down in my basement is black as well, so when that goes, she goes. Little Crow Gunworks sends you about 4 of them. I went ahead and ordered extra as well. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to size up what I need in comparison to how far I'm going to drill down. I really don't want to mess this up, so I got about 0.182. I made a decision here that I'm going to go for the full 2.2. I figured, you know, round up, can't go wrong. And there we go. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to get the right size that I'm looking for and that I'm needing, and I'm going to put some mark and get it set so I know how far I got to go down. I'm not real sure what to expect when I'm in there, so I'm kind of doing a quick mark, and I'll be checking it throughout, making sure that I'm getting it. Okay, right now I'm just getting the tools ready, getting the measurements, and putting some marking tape on my tap and drill. I just want to make sure I'm going so far and not getting carried away with it. I'm taking the little L wrench here and making sure it's all cleared out, no obstructions. I'm doing a quick double check to see how far it went down in comparison to how far I'm about to go, because as you know, you have that opening down there for the takedown pin, and you don't really want to intrude with that and where it is. So me doing this as my third time ever doing this, I'm using my LaRue here, and I'm trying to be as careful as I can. And I watched a few videos, you know, keep it nice and lubed, keep it ready to go, take a steady hand, and at this point in time, you're going to see I'm testing the waters. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a number 10 nail, or one of the nails I have lying around, so that I can grab hold of it a lot easier. Going real slow. I am desperately trying to make sure it catches. I'm asking myself, am I going to have to do some drilling? Is this hole that's already been manufactured going to be big enough, just right, etc. So after a few turns here, I'm feeling real good. I think I know where I'm at. Now I'm going to go get me one of those nails here to hook through the end and help me get me some really good turns as I'm going. And again, as you know, you're going slow. I don't really need more oil. What I do need is more light. And I'm just doing one turn at a time, nice and slow. And as you'll see, that I'm being so careful that as I turn, I'll hit a rough spot that I feel is like rough, and then I'll go backwards. I'll back it out a little bit, then I'll continue going forward again. I don't want to put any strain on this tap and die. I don't want to put any strain on the aluminum of the lower, although it's built really good. I just don't want to risk stripping these out, making it look larger than I have to. But at the end, I still want to go straight down, keeping it level, and doing my best here. And just so you know, I'm a little bit on nerve. I'm not sure what to expect. I'll hit a rough spot, I'll back it out, trying to keep as steady as possible. I'll feel it slipping inside the grip there that holds the drill bit, the die bit. So I'll back out a little bit, and then I'll continue to go. See how I'm backing out right now? I don't want to put too much pressure on the die there, on the tap as I was, and have it strip out of the holder. So I'll back out, go a little bit forward. Now, I know it may not seem like there's a lot of oil down there, but believe it or not, there's a nice sized pool. And I can see by the pieces that are coming out that it's cutting in nice and smooth. I'm going to tell you, the Little Crow Gunworks, these guys, they really knew what they were doing. They built these things real solid. So I'm doing my part as a DIY guy, not to jeopardize or strip it. Because as you know, those clamps that hold that bit in place, four-sided, held on by a screw pressure, and it can slip through because it's not really made for such a small bit that I'm using. So I'm using a flashlight here, making sure that what I'm doing as I'm backing out, that I'm making progress and I'm not just spinning my wheels. And as you know, that's pretty dang important. I'm going to go ahead and be quiet here and let the thing say for itself. close. I'm not real sure how far down I'm supposed to be going. Did I make my mark or not? Going nice and smooth. And I take it all the way out, all the way back in. Make sure I got really good grooves cut in. Right about now, I'm trying to keep the area nice and clean. I also know that I also most likely have some stuff on the inside that needs to be cleaned out as well. And I will be getting to that here shortly, making sure that it's cleaned out all around, inside and outside. And she's just going in real smooth. No problems. Going right down where she needs to go. I mean, we're talking, it worked just fine. It's not catching some little bit of grit there. And so I know enough to stop when I'm ahead. I'm also going to have to test it. As you can see, I'm not all the way down right there where I measured my tape mark at. Alright, so right here I'm doing a quick double measure. You know, measure twice before I start putting everything away, making sure I'm where I need to be, making sure I'm doing some cleaning of the area. And I'm about to test one of those set screws that came with the die set. My object here, I need to make sure that when I put it in there that it's flush. And it's going to tell me if I didn't get it flush enough. Oh, the magnets, by the way, are doing their job. I'm using the edge Right now I'm using the edge of the tool here to make sure it's flush. And if it doesn't go flush enough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw it down even more until I feel it completely smooth. And this right here is going to tell me if I drilled enough, if I need to drill deeper, or if I just need to screw it in a bit deeper, and it takes. Again, I'm going nice and slow. Looks like I got a really good fit. And as you know, the next thing you got to do is you got to use the spring. Now, everybody knows and everybody's warned me all the videos I say, you got to cut the same measurement off of these springs that you used to drill. So, for example, after I put this detent in, I got to get the pliers out and very carefully trim off my spring. In comparison to a standard spring, I went 3/1000, so I got to cut 3/1000 off the edge of my spring. And here I am just making sure that, well, first off, I just drilled all that. I want to make sure I'm sure of myself. And I put those right in where they need to be, and I grab the right spring. It's important to note that I'm using the springs that came with the takedown pins. Little Creek sent a set of their own, and since that manufacturer recommends using their springs and their detent pin, well, I think that's the right thing to do. So as I'm putting it in there, I'm realizing that the grooves that I just cut are catching on the spring, and that caused me to think, oh no, but it's just normal. Put some lubrication in there, goes right in. And I'm making my measurements. I know what has to come off, and I'm going to give it a good slice, and I'm also going to check the ends to make sure that I didn't have a piece protruding out and catching, because as you know, when you cut this, that end you cut could go sideways on you or stick out the wrong way as you cut it and bend, and then it would catch on those grooves or the detent pin. By the way, I'm doing some editing over this. I'm practicing my DaVinci editor here, and in the background, I'm in the basement. This is where we do the laundry and stuff. That wasn't a toilet you heard flushing. That was Mama's flushing machine going. I'm very sorry about that, but the basement's man cave, workbench, workshop / laundry room. You guys know how that goes. So anyways, my apologies if you're hearing all of that. now. She's looking real good. I'm checking flush, and everything looks good. I'm going to give a quick view here. I'm double checking the takedown pins. I'm using my Geisley trigger helper. There she looks, finished, nice and flush, nice and clean, all cleaned out inside there for the takedown pins, and I appreciate it, guys.